Welcome to the Swimmer Joe Show. And here's your host, Joe Auer.
All right, so welcome, Randy. 2015 Conference USA Team Champion last year, undefeated, many school records, academic honors for your team. You're heading up to Atlanta this weekend. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so listen, you are going this weekend, and here we are again heading up to the conference championships as the defending champion. You're down a little bit of horsepower, to graduation, things like that. So, but you're certainly picking up in other areas. How's it looking going into this weekend?
We're confident. It's been a little bit of a rough season. We've been out of our pool all season, doing a little bit of travel actually the entire year until just this week. So it's been a little bit of a challenge as far as that, but things have really come together here in the last few weeks as we're starting to taper and get rested. We're definitely going to be a little bit weaker in some areas. Definitely some areas we got to step up. We feel like though our diving is much stronger this year. It's going to be a key for us. And then, one of the biggest points is going to be depth. Girls stepping up on the, lower end of the team that haven't quite put themselves into the ranks yet that need to come through and, score for the team.
All right. So what are some, you talked about the diving a little bit. What are some other key swimming areas that you're going to have to look to or people you go, hey, look, we really need to step up. Maybe a person that was, 18th or something last year, and now they need to be top 8.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's quite a few of those, but Becky Wild, one of our seniors, she's somebody that is actually one of our better athletes on the team that didn't have a real great first semester, so she's coming in not ranked as well as we know that she can do. For example, Sky Carey, one of our Florida girls, it's a sophomore this year. She had a great freshman campaign, but wasn't quite ready to step up in the 500 free. The 500 free, I feel like, is a huge event for us on day one that, Rice is very strong in, where you need to step up, and her amongst others in the 500 free is in one of the areas that they're going to have to kind of get a little bit more done than we've done in the past if we want to do what we want to do.
So you have a national championships also coming up. How do you prepare some of those athletes through this weekend to get to that?
Yeah, we're pointing 100% at this weekend right now, not even focused or worried about it because we got to get there first. None of the times we posted so far are going to get invited. So we know we've got to go fast and pull out all the stops to go and do what we need to do this weekend. So, we'll hopefully sit back on Monday and make our plan from here to the NCAAs based on performances this weekend.
Okay, so you've been there for, 5-6 years now. And what's the next step for you as a program?
Yeah, continue building as we are. We want to continue to move up through the national ranks. We feel like, we've kind of taken a little bit of a step back this year. We've, lost a few key athletes to graduation and Olympic preparation as well. So we just want to get right back on track, start marching up through the ranks, competing against the top programs, and, also putting some teams in the Olympic teams this year for Rio.
Well, that'd be great. That'd be exciting, man.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We've got some great opportunities for some kids.
Okay, so you sit down, you sit your team down, and you talk about this weekend. What was a pre-message that you sent to them, or did you even do that yet?
Have not done that yet. When we get to Atlanta, we'll be sitting down at a team meeting Tuesday evening. We'll do a little team meeting, do a little senior ceremony where the kids do some things, and we'll talk to the girls about, kind of the message of the weekend, set the tone, and, get them hyped up then. If we start hyping them up too soon, they may not sleep between now and conference, and, that's not good for anybody. So, but pretty much our message is, trust the process. Don't be focused on the results. Yes, we want to win, but it's more about going in, being a team, having fun, because our team, the character of our team is when they're having fun and they're loose and they're having a good time and supporting each other, they swim fast, and then the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah, that seems to be the normal message. I mean, if you could relax, you're going to swim fast, and yeah, that's great. All right, so let's move on to the program a little bit. What makes it awesome to swim at FIU?
Okay, well, the obvious is always, location and the weather. I think we're in the best location in the world as far as any college swimming program. It's definitely a draw for, a lot of people around the world as well as in the U.S. But I think what makes us a little bit different and sets us apart, we're very team-oriented, and we've done a great job at creating that culture. So, when you come in and swim for FIU, it's a sisterhood. You're working for each other. You're working about each other. It's not just about you and your results, but developing as a person and as a team and learning the skills along the way. So, that's a big part of what we do, and it translates into swimming fast. But, again, that's our primary focus, is doing the other things better first.
So you've been there, and you've been in other programs, of course, but so you come into this program. You've been there 5 or 6 years like we're talking about. Has it gone the way that you wanted? Is it your plan so far?
It has. We wanted slow, steady progress. We've tried not to, mortgage the future to try to bring in anybody in immediate impact kids that may not be the right fit for our program or fit the ideals of what we're trying to teach here, take shortcuts. So it's taken a little bit of time. We didn't run anybody off when we first took over. We wanted to invest in those that are here and wanted, hard work. If they want to do what we expect, they had a place here. So it took some time to, kind of turn the team over and bring in the next athletes that we've been recruiting, but we're happy about that. And I can look back at that and feel good about it that, we didn't clean house. We did it a little bit at a time and developed it to where the culture now is strong, and it's where we can move on and keep getting better.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a long transition period, and it looks like you did it pretty quickly.
Yeah, never as quick as we want to, but yeah, it's been good.
Okay, so you have a deep roster, and you and I have talked about this before, but deep roster. A lot of internationals. What is the secret to getting those guys?
International athletes like Miami. They like the location. They're familiar with it. A lot of them have come here for training camps in the past, whether it be Miami or Fort Lauderdale or South Florida in general. So a lot of times they're seeking us out. They're looking for opportunities to come to the U.S. And, we make the short list in a hurry just based on that alone. Then they start getting a little bit deeper, and the fact that we do have a lot of international athletes, so that attracts them as well, because they like to come where they kind of have a more familiar atmosphere. And the city of Miami, it's very international, in flavor and culture. So there's not a lot of adjustment when they get here, because there's, I think about as many international, effects of this culture in the city as there are from the mainland U.S., if maybe not more.
So and so you talk to some internationals and you say, okay, hey, especially when they're a junior or senior, you go, hey, is there anybody else that you can help me get to come over here? Yeah. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about networking and pipeline of, who do you know, who are your friends, who else is on your national team that might be looking for a similar opportunity, and, try to let that grow as time goes by.
Now, is there a do they? I guess when you're talking about scholarships and things like that for some of the internationals, are they more on they need the scholarship, or they're already ready to come over?
A combination. When we first started out, most of the international athletes we had, needed a lot of scholarship help to come to the U.S., and that seemed to be a driving force. But, in the past few years, actually, as we've become more successful as a program and feel like we're selling a little more than just, Miami, Florida and the weather. And, we're getting a lot more that actually have some financial resources to pay some on their own. So it's not just a, scholarship equals opportunity. So we have everything from, in between there as well. So it's becoming more, of a not just a pay to swim atmosphere from international athletes.
Right. All right. So listen, we've also talked about this. We talked about this last year, and trying to get Florida high schoolers to come to your program. What can we do to get more Florida high schoolers there? It's young. Team started in 2003, so that's going to take some time to build a little bit of history. But how do we do that going forward?
I think continue getting the word out, what kind of program we have, what we sell here, what we do, the culture of our team, and then just the successes of our program. You all with Florida Swim Network, I feel, has been instrumental in getting the word out for all college programs, and has definitely helped with, getting the success of ours out as well, because the history here, before wasn't, really that good. And we kind of suffered from that the first few years and getting that turned around. And I feel like just in the last year, we're starting to get more looks from more Florida kids that we want that can help our program. And we'll always continue to recruit Florida first. And then we'll go from that point on. But that's, I think just still educating not just the athletes too, but the parents and coaches too, about the program we have, the opportunities we have. And it's a great place to swim fast and have a great education.
I agree. I mean, South Florida is totally awesome. You can be at the beach in a minute, and
Yep.
and you like to scuba dive and do things like and surf. I mean, you got a surfboard right behind you, so
Yep, that is true.
I mean that's got to be better than going to Minnesota.
That's true.
So, all right, you talked about education a little earlier, and you go to these meets that are a week long. How do the kids get their education done? And you guys have a strong academic program. So how do you get them to study during a stressful week like this?
A lot of them have to get a lot done before they leave. Knowing the schedule and knowing their classes and their coursework, we spend a lot of prep time on getting things done so they don't have to be as in depth during the week while they're gone. Doesn't mean they're not going to study while they're there. They're going to spend the time in between sessions, but those of us in swimming know that a lot of that time is napping in between prelims and finals. And so a lot of the pressure does come down to getting stuff done beforehand, communicating with their instructors so when they come back, they have things set up to get done. And then that's also another thing good with culture and the upperclassmen teaching the younger swimmers, how do you function? How do you do it? Because, our goals are being a great athlete and a student at the same time.
That's great. And I think that a lot of parents, when they're going, okay, you're going to be a swimmer in college, how are you going to get your studying done? Or you picking good academic-minded athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things we look for. We look for obviously great swimmers, but great students and great people. Those are the three things. And, if one of those things is missing, there's a red flag because usually those things go pretty much hand in hand. And, we try to carefully select them on the front end for that.
All right. So this weekend, what is going to define success for you and your program?
Well, of course, we want a title. We want to go back and repeat. That's definitely been a goal for the team since day one, and actually since the day after the championship last year was, okay, we did it. Let's come back and do it again. So I would say, it'd be lying if I didn't say that's really the goal. That's what we want to go in, and we'd be disappointed with anything less. But, it's more about the process. If we can go in and we do our best, we swim fast, we, support each other as a team, have fun, do all the little things we talked about. If another team is better that given day, that's one of the things we can't control. So as long as we go in and do our thing, don't let ourselves get out of our, comfort zone of what we are and what we do best. We'll be happy with it and we'll live with it. But obviously, we have our nose pointed at one thing, and that's to try to bring home another title.
All right, so Randy Horner, FIU head coach, looking to repeat this year. Well, thank you for the show, and thanks for joining us, man.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for having me, Joe.
You've been listening to the Swimmer Joe Show. For more information about Joe or anything you've heard in this podcast, head to floridaswimnetwork.com.